Yeah, so my first recommendation would be to not confuse trashing with not prioritizing in exactly the same way that you do, because neither Dale Martin's nor Bart Ehrman's introductions to the New Testament trash the spiritual significance of the text. They both just don't prioritize it in exactly the same way that you might for pretty obvious methodological reasons. Dale Martin's introduction is a literary introduction to the New Testament, of which spiritual significance is not really a part. And so he actually praises the spiritual significance in the opening chapter and then just goes on to ignore it because it's not really part of his approach. Now, Bart Ehrman doesn't say anything at all about the spiritual significance of the New Testament in his opening chapter, although he acknowledges that people have found it spiritually significant. But then again, he goes on to largely ignore that spiritual significance because it's not part of his historical approach to his introduction to the New Testament. So after that, my second recommendation, if you are interested in a critical, academic, but theologically orientated introduction to the New Testament that may prioritize spiritual significance in something like the way that you do, my recommendation would be Raymond Brown's Introduction to the New Testament. This is a fantastic text. I usually don't recommend it as like a first introduction to the New Testament, primarily on the basis of its size. So here is Bart Ehrman's by comparison. And as you can see here, it's almost twice as big. And so that can be a lot of material to get through. And even though it is a lot of material to get through, Raymond Brown's emphasis on theology leaves less room for discussions about literary and historical concerns. And for many people who want an academic introduction to the text, perhaps they want to hear more than just theology. They want to hear this literary and historical background stuff. So this usually is not my first recommendation, even though it is a fantastic text. So those would be my two recommendations. Hopefully you can put both of those recommendations to good use.